Chelsea, bienvenidos. I'm here in front of our beautiful historic building, the Chelsea Public Library, and I am dressed in Spider-Man theme attire, and we're gonna do a Spider-Man story time today. We're very excited. So first we're gonna start with a group sing along with everyone. So, buenos días, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias, muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? ¿Y tú? Good morning, how are you? How are you? Very well, thank you, very well, thank you. And you? And you? I'm doing great, the weather's great for a store of Spider-Man story time. Woo! Okay, so, there we go. Make sure he's standing. So, Spider-Man, the story of Spider-Man, let's start with that. So, Spider-Man. Peter Parker was just your average teenager from Queens, New York. He lived with his Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and he attended Midtown High. Peter was very studious and was considered one of the smartest kids in school. Unfortunately, his good grades didn't make him very popular with some of his classmates. Flash Thompson, the school bully, regularly tormented Peter. One day, Flash pushed him to the ground, and Peter's books and papers scattered everywhere. Hey, Parker, you dropped your books, Flash sneered. That's a bully. No good. No bueno. School was tough for Peter. It is tough, but he was always happy at home. Aunt May and Uncle Ben loved Peter completely. Uncle Ben always reminded Peter that he was going to do something special with his life. You are incredibly smart, Peter, Aunt May said. You have the ability to do anything you want to do with you. Okay? Anything that you want to be, kids. Well, actually, I was thinking that I might want to be a scientist one day, Peter said. A scientist? Uncle Ben put his arm around Peter. A scientist is a very important job. Science is power. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Then, one day, Peter's life changed. While he was on a school trip to a science hall, he was excited to see real-life scientists at work. But Peter looked around at the exhibits, and a spider passed through the radioactive waves. Peter was so distracted, he didn't even notice the radioactive spider. His head's right towards him. Okay. At that moment, the radioactive spider bit Peter. He could never have imagined what an impact this one bite would have on his life. Peter Parker would never be the same. Before Peter knew it, he had adopted many characteristics of a spider. He could cling to walls, he was super strong, and he also had spider senses. This meant that Peter experienced a strong, tingling feeling that alerted him to danger. Those skills made Peter extremely powerful. That's good. We need heroes. Peter wanted to keep his identity a secret, so he stayed up all night creating a spider suit and a mask. So he stayed up all night creating this costume. He even stitched a larger spider on the front of it, like my costume. Peter also worked hard to figure out how to control his new powers. Using his vast knowledge of science, he made web shooters and practiced shooting them in his bedroom. You need to practice when you have that. Peter's super strong web struck to every surface, and soon his entire room was covered in webs. Okay, so it's not as easy as it seems, Peter thought. So, like all teenagers, we need money. Peter wanted to make money, and he needed a job where he could use his powers to his advantage. So, Peter became a wrestler. Okay, please welcome to the ring, Spider-Man! Peter used his powers to defeat every opponent. One night, Peter noticed the wrestling gym was being robbed. Robbed? Oh no. Peter didn't care, and the robber ended up getting away. Oh, geez. Turning the page. We gotta find out what happens to the robbery. Okay. When Peter got home later that night, he saw police cars in front of his house. He raced inside and found out that someone had attacked and hurt Uncle Ben. Okay, Aunt May and Peter were devastated. The police officers told Peter not to worry because they had the criminal cornered at an old warehouse. But Peter knew he had to take matters into his own hands. That's so scary. That's so scary having police cars in front of the house. So at last, Peter arrived at the warehouse. The thief was stunned as he watched Spider-Man in action. Spider-Man shot a web and trapped the crook. After getting a good look at him, Spider-Man realized that it was the same criminal he had watched escape from the wrestling gym. If only I had stopped him there, he thought. Peter vowed that from then on he would help others whenever it was in his power. He would never let anything like that happen ever again. So, 1 month earlier, Peter would have been busy studying for his chemistry final like any normal teenager, but everything had changed. He might still have to do homework from time to time, but Peter was also Spider-Man. The next day at school, everyone couldn't stop talking about Spider-Man. I think he's great, Flash said as he looked at an article about the new hero. He's just trying to help the city. Peter smiled. If only Flash knew who Peter really was. So the next day, Spider-Man heard about another criminal on the loose in Manhattan. Spider-Man swung down to confront the villain, who he discovered had the ability to control electricity. It was Electro! The hero uses web shooters, and after a few tries, the supervillain was defeated. In that moment, Spider-Man realized something. It was his destiny to always protect others. And if he worked hard enough, maybe one day he can become a great superhero. Spider-Man thought back to the words that Uncle Ben has always used to say, with great power comes great responsibility. Peter Parker might seem like your normal teenager, but there's a part of him that is extremely special. He is a superhero who can scale buildings, spin webs, and he's an amazing Spider-Man. Look at that! I know, that's so cool. And the end! Colorín colorado, y cuento se ha acabado. Thank you. Yes, I do. Let's clap. That was a cool Spider-Man story. Yeah. We need a hero, right? Thank you so much for coming to my Spider-Man superhero story time.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out!